proposition if we do it right.
You know, if you aim low, you get low. If you aim high, you might hit it.
We actually grow our economy through making these changes.
By the end of 2007, more than 27 states will have taken comprehensive climate action, setting aggressive targets for reducing greenhouse gases, having a comprehensive and credible plan to achieve those targets, and then putting those into law.
That takes time, it takes expertise, but every one of the states that has gone through a deliberative public policy development process has found a way forward that resolves the vast majority of conflicts and creates tremendous economic opportunity. Unfortunately, there's a disconnect between what's happening in the states and what's happening in Washington.
If ever there was a challenge that cried out for a robust, strong federal response, this is it.
The entire future of the world depends on what the United States does in the next couple of years. We're home to 5% of the world's population and 25% of the world's greenhouse gases.
Tackling this problem requires a partnership between the states and the federal government. All across the country, people recognize the urgency, they recognize their responsibility, and they really believe that there's a way forward. And they've been finding that way forward. That story needs to be more clear to our national policymakers.
I don't think many people would disagree with the fact that what we're doing is unsustainable, environmentally, economically, and from a national security standpoint. But we have a chance to try to make a difference and to do good. When we say things like we want to have 25% of our energy from renewable sources by the year 2025, that's a goal or a strategy, but you also have to make sure that those goals are realized. And that's what we're working on as we speak.
Industry, environmental groups, agriculture, academia, there's more than 50 of us meeting weekly at this point. Depending on the day, I sometimes say to friends it's like a life sentence, and sometimes it's more just a really interesting experience.
A very big percentage of the emissions that are generated in Minnesota are attributable to transportation. It's always one of the biggest sources, and in many states it's the single biggest source of emissions. Every gallon of gasoline creates almost 20 pounds of carbon dioxide that goes in the atmosphere, so it adds up pretty quickly.
Our transportation and land use targets are ambitious. Is it doable? You never know until you get into the trenches. We're looking at a whole range of options. How many miles people drive, the fuel they use, and can we make cars more efficient? Once we've identified something that should be studied, it might be the speed limit should be 65 instead of 70. Then we go to the consultant, and they calculate the savings in greenhouse gases over 15, 20, 30 years, whatever it is. And we add up those numbers, and we say, oh, you know, we're close to this target, or uh-oh, we're really a long ways away. These strategies aren't enough. We have to add something else. It's a consensus model. We're supposed to all sort of agree, and we've had some hard conversations about what we should do.
At the end of the day, a typical climate action plan involves a ballpark of about 50 different actions that cut across all economic sectors.
We need to understand that the solution is something that we will have to enact as a group, looking at what's best for everybody.
We can do this. I know we can do it. States can be laboratories for ideas, and that's a role that we're excited to play. The beauty of state action is we're smaller than the federal government, and we tend to be at least somewhat less partisan than the Congress is, so we can be a little more nimble. And the public, they're kind of ready to go, at least 70 or 80% of the public is. And in politics, that's a good number. And so it's wonderful. There's a lot of excitement, a lot of energy.
It's a real urgent and scary prospect for us to talk about and imagine a 1 foot rise in sea level, let alone 2, 3, 4 feet.